Hello, I'm Lowell Martin, and this is MCC Today. Get ready. On today's show, we have Leslie Lee, Theresa Gonzales, and Josh Taylor. You're going to really want to watch this. There might be cussing.
Find your wings. It's more than just a hashtag.
It's the power of knowledge in our state-of-the-art classrooms.
It's skills training for a competitive job market.
It's the best nursing program in the state.
It's home runs, buzzer beaters, and the thrill of victory.
And MCC walks it off.
It's not just a hashtag. How do I know? Because I found my wings.
And we are here with Miss Leslie Lee from the Jimmie Rodgers Foundation. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Happy to be here.
A lot of things are happening with the Jimmie Rodgers Foundation.
So much is happening.
And y'all are actually moving into a new facility.
We are currently in the facility now.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
We're located now at 1200 22nd Avenue. So we have, it's the beautiful big old mansion on the way up the hill downtown. And it looks like everything was just made to be in there. So it's absolutely gorgeous. The house is perfect and fitting for everything.
Now, how long have you been with the Jimmie Rodgers Foundation?
I am fairly new. So the Jimmie Rodgers Festival, just to give you a little bit of history, is the longest and oldest festival in the U.S. It started in 1953 by Ernest Tubb and Hank Snow as a memorial tribute. So we're still going on, have never missed a year, even during COVID. So we are fully funded and run by volunteers and our wonderful board. So the museum was opened in 1976, and I am the first employee that they've had. So I've been there for about 4 months successfully. And we've had just some great changes in those 4 months. We're really doing a lot of good things.
Yes, and now, you know, that Meridian is known for the Jimmie Rodgers Foundation.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmie Rodgers and Meridian are synonymous together.
Yes, because I remember years ago, my mother, because she is a country music fanatic, would go to the Jimmie Rodgers, and that week, I believe it just lasts a week. Am I correct?
It is a 1 week.
That week was just like, you don't talk to her. She is going to be very busy.
That's right.
She's going to be going, and she always had such a good time with it.
It is. Well, if you can imagine, I mean, first off, the festival, just the legacy of it is amazing. But when it started, over 50,000 people came to Meridian. There's not even that in the county and the city combined, but they came downtown and they had this wonderful festival that lasted for a week. So we are bringing back the week-long festival. It's going to happen in May, so put it on your calendars now, May 8th through the 15th. And so we have everything with MCC. We're going to do the Blue Yodeler play. It's a part of the Arts and Letters series. That's going to kick it off, and then we're going to just run live music and different events. Different seminars, all kinds of things. So that's coming up in May.
When will people be able to start getting tickets and things like that?
Very soon.
Very soon. So it'll be through your website?
Yeah. Usually we start tickets in January.
Okay.
So, but you can go to jimmierodgers.com.
Okay, that is wonderful. Now, as you said before, and as we've talked about, that Jimmie Rodgers is synonymous with Meridian. But, Jimmie Rodgers, this festival provides a big economic boon to us.
It really does. We bring people in from all over. And so what we've been doing now, what we've changed, we've started a nationwide marketing push. So we have a podcast coming out in January. And so hopefully that'll get people, learning about Meridian, learning about the legacy of Jimmie Rodgers. I mean, for those of you that don't know, Jimmie Rodgers is not only the father of country music, so he's in the Country Music Awards, right?
Yes.
He's also was the first inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's in the Blues Hall of Fame. He's in the Gospel Hall of Fame. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And I'm always missing something. So we've got country, blues, rock, I mean everything.
An
And he's
underachiever.
exactly right. So he's really the first and only crossover artist.
Wow. Now, how do you determine the singers that you will have, the musicians, the people that you will have in the festival? Who determines that? If you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious.
We have a board of directors
Okay.
and myself, and so we have a lot of meetings. We have a lot of artists that reach out to us. The great thing about the festival
Say,
is
I'm
really
free this week. Choose me.
Exactly. And so it's just kind of looking. But if you look at the history of the festival, really until the music industry changed in the late 90s, these artists would come and play for free. Every country legend has played here in Meridian. And they did it for free. Willie Nelson, free. You would
Yes.
never have that anymore.
No,
But
no.
just because of the acclaim of the festival.
Wow. Now, recently y'all had a bike ride.
We did.
Okay, the Century Ride.
We did.
Okay, and what was the purpose of that, and how did it go?
Well, it was fantastic. Thanks for
Okay.
asking. But it's like what you said, a great economic tool. So we wanted to do something again just to say, hey, we're doing events, we're back, because we haven't done a lot because of COVID. We wanted to have some fun. So we thought we'd just do something wild, a 100-mile bike race. So we partnered up with the Marty Stewart Congress of Country Music in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, yes.
And so people paid to ride here, go all the way there, 100 miles and back. But the great thing that makes it kind of different than other rides is that all along the route, they had live music.
Oh my.
So it was a lot of fun.
Now, how many did you have? A large
We
group
did.
participating?
We had right at 100 riders for this
Okay.
inaugural event,
Who
which is
paid
great. Who paid to do
to
it?
ride 100 miles? Okay.
But I'd say out of those 100, 70 of them were from out of town. So we
Okay.
had riders from Nashville, we had them from Georgia, from Louisiana, all over, and then all over Mississippi come.
I remember, and this is years ago, I think 20 or 30 years ago, there were people who came in from overseas, from England, from Australia, and I seem to recall it was one family that every year they took their vacation and came here.
That's right.
And so as we were talking about, you cannot stress how much economically we benefit from this. How did COVID affect?
I was not a part
Right.
of the Jimmie Rodgers organization at that time, but what they tell me, they had just to keep it going, to say we didn't have a dark year, we had a little teeny tiny event with our sponsors.
Okay.
But we did have something. Right.
Now, you've been here 4 months, you said. Now, so what would you like to see in the future for the Jimmie Rodgers Foundation, the Jimmie Rodgers Festival? Is there anything that you're hoping to start doing, or?
Well, I think we have set a goal and we have a strategic plan just to bring back that glory of the festival and to really make that kind of our main thing again. And so to have that week-long festival with events and make Meridian proud. So that's really what we're working on.
My mother used to talk about how great it was that it just seemed so intimate. You weren't far away from the performer. You were able to see and to talk to sometimes people and see them. And she said that they always went out to eat afterwards, and they would sometimes see musicians who were up there, and sometimes the main performer up there and it was just a matter of just a down-homey sense that they always got.
Oh yeah, the performers would come and they would go golf and they would fish and they camped out. And I think that was the draw for the performers too, to come feel like you have that hometown weekend.
Well, tell us the website again for the tickets.
You can go to jimmierodgers.com.
And so hopefully you will be able to do those.
All of our events,
all the
everything's
information
on
is
there.
right there.
Yes.
Listen, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
for having
here.
me.
Hope to have you again.
I will. I will be back. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first, while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
And we are back, and we have Miss Theresa Gonzales. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, thank you.
Now, you are in charge of the Meridian Art Walk, right?
Yes.
Now, what exactly is the Meridian Art Walk?
The Meridian Art Walk started as a collection of artists that were looking for an opportunity to share their art and their craft with others, and then also make some money, connect with other artists, and to build a platform to grow the art community here in Meridian.
Okay. And now, you've been doing this about, how long did you say?
About 4 years. I started being more of the main coordinator about 3 years ago.
Okay. You know, it always amazes me, and it has since I was very young here in Meridian, how many local artists we have. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for them to show what they do.
Absolutely. I have not run out of new people to meet in any sort of artistic medium since we've been here. We've had sculptors, we've had wood burners, we've had glasswork, we've had musicians, we've had multiple artists that have won awards, we've had just people of every profession from MCC, from the high schools, just a wide range of everybody out there.
What do you think it is about Meridian that creates this kind of community of artists? If you don't mind me asking.
I think one of the unique features about Meridian goes back to kind of its founding and its history is the geographical location. So because you're central to Florida and Tennessee and all these New Orleans and stuff, you get a lot of people that kind of converge and cross over. And so I think that works very well in Meridian's favor. And so you've got also the element of like the military base and things like that. So you do have a lot of cross culture that all meet right here in Meridian. And I think the big thing is kind of giving them that platform again to come out and showcase what they have. I think one of the things that's unique about Meridian Art Walk is we try to be accepting of all levels, expert levels who have won awards, and all the way down to, we had crafty sisters out there with us, and it was their first event as sisters, and they were selling their art. So I think that's what makes Meridian Art Walk special, is we try to engage the community as a whole, all backgrounds, all everybody, all skill levels, yes.
Now, when typically is the Art Walk?
Art Walk has been set, it's first Saturdays, April through November.
Okay, so April through November, first Saturday.
First Saturdays.
And you can come out and show your art and come out and see the beautiful art.
Absolutely. And the great thing that's happened with that transition over the last few years has been the growth in downtown Meridian. When we first started on Saturdays, there was nothing going on downtown. Like, it was pretty much a dead zone.
Yes.
And just these recent days, like November 6th, the event with Leslie Lee, they had the Century Park, the bike ride.
Yes.
And then they had Rail Fest and Live Steam Fest. And there was so much going on. You could not possibly make it to everything here. And with 3 Foot Hotel opening up and those sort of things coming in, there's so much to do now that all it can do is grow and expand. And it's giving that sense of, okay, we need to start organizing now because there's so much going on. We got to plan a year ahead. And so that's amazing.
Well, if an artist is interested in participating in the Art Walk, how do they go about doing that?
The easiest way for most people is to go to our Facebook page, Meridian Art Walk. We do have a website, www.meridianartwalk.com.
Okay.
And you can reach us that way as well. For the people that don't have internet or don't have Facebook and things like that, we've had a lot of word of mouth, and they contact somebody that they know for maybe a lot of our older artists and things like that. And so we've kind of kept that grassroots kind of connection with connecting, talking to individuals, and then we all share that system to get everybody connected as quickly as possible.
Well, you said that 2 things that are near and dear to your heart and the heart of the Meridian, the Art Walk, is Batson's Hospital and the blood drives that you have.
Yes.
Okay. How are you connected to Batson's Hospital?
My youngest daughter has had to have a couple surgeries at Batson's this year.
Okay.
And
she doing all right?
Yeah, she's good.
Good.
And so that really kind of brought more awareness to me about things like the need for funding, the need for comfort items for Batson's Children's Hospital, also the blood drive need, that we are at critical shortages across the nation donation because
Yes.
of the pandemic,
Yes.
for all these different reasons. And so in my instance, my daughter's O negative and I'm O positive, so I could not donate for her. So that's this year we had our third blood drive in November. And then in July, we had a Christmas in July event where we did a raffle to raise funds. We had a canned food drive, a toy drive, and then we allied with the motorcycle group Asphalt and Iron with Zach Kramer, and then we literally left from the art walk and the blood drive and the food drive and all that and drove straight to Batson Children's Hospital and made the drop off with the donations.
I bet they were.
They were very happy, very ecstatic, and it really opened up that opportunity to say, okay, look, we need to not just look in our own immediate community, but we need to nurture these younger artists and get them involved because
Yes.
they're going through a hard time. So arts are great for healing and recovery. Arts are great for connecting with people who may be bedridden or illness, injury. And so I try to carry that aspect of communicating arts in every aspect of your life, and that's one of the main goals of Meridian Art Walk, is to bring in not only artists, but bring in community.
Well, you know, one of the things that you hear about all the time, you know, when they're talking about budgets for schools and things like that, one of the first and, you know, quickest things that is cut is art. And music and you know, literature. You know, I mean, why do you think? Because I mean, how can you argue for art?
Well, it's actually quite easy. I was formerly on the community arts team for Any Given Child, which is the Meridian Public School District's arts integration program. They integrate arts into all the children's lessons, from English, science, all of those in every possible way, because not all children learn the same. Some are sensory as far as vision, hearing, tactile, so they can find different ways to communicate through art. Art and actually storytelling are the oldest forms of art, and so when you come and bring those together, you can reach more people. And if you keep people engaged, they stay out of trouble. If you keep people engaged, then their immune systems are upped because they're having more of the happy and adrenaline, you know, sort of chemical reactions and things like that. So for arts in the schools specifically, if those children can find a way to learn, then they'll be happier students because they're not struggling. If you find a way for them to not be frustrated in class, then they'll be more attentive and they'll be more excited to be there. I think a lot of the time when the kids are just sitting there testing and no arts integration, they get bored and they shut down.
Right.
And so if you bring that in the form of music, which you can often do with any lesson, I see that a lot with the younger kids, if you bring that in the form of painting or tactile processes, if you bring that in the form of literature where you do small plays in the, you know, literature that you've read and things like that, then you're going to be more likely to retain the information and you're going to find it more likely to be useful because you've already applied it to something else in your life.
Definitely. Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here today. Would you give us your website again for if people are interested in getting in touch with you or learning more about Meridian Art Walk?
Yes, it's www.meridianartwalk.com, or you can reach us through our Facebook page, Meridian Art Walk.
I appreciate you being here today. I
Thank
hope
you
to
for
have
having
you
me.
back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
We are back and we have the wonderful Mr. Josh Taylor with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm doing really well.
I probably don't have as much caffeine in me right now as you do.
Oh.
So it may take me a sec to get up to your level.
I'm just saying. I'm drinking those pods that have like double caffeine or the most caffeine you can have, and I usually have one or two of them.
Yeah. I like the French vanilla. I can't do like the super caffeinated crazy ones.
Do you put anything in your coffee?
Well, I don't drink coffee. I like French vanilla, like gas station French vanilla.
Oh, okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Talk about getting off topic. You are, okay, technically speaking, you are the division chair for
the business division.
For the business division, but you also run the media, not media, what is it?
So kind of I'm chairman of the business division, but my day job, as they say, would be as the coordinator instructor for media production technology, which is our 2-year associate degree program that deals with media production, content creation, that
our
kind
radio
of stuff.
station and our
television, radio, film.
He is the person that I think every show, and I say our media specialist, Josh Taylor.
That's right.
You know, because he's in the control room, you know, like Geppetta.
I'm hiding back in the shadows with Matt. We stay off camera as much as possible.
So what is happening in your department?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I think we talked about this last time I was here. Our field with media is kind of always evolving, and just within a 4 or 5 year period, it's a whole different industry. And I've seen this happen before. I've been doing it for long enough that we've kind of seen this evolution. But so the new stuff that's come up for us lately, and we still train all the basic skills, just like doing this show. We train basic studio production skills.
Your students are actually running the cameras and
that are doing this. But some interesting stuff that's come up for us in particular is one is we started to get into drone cinematography, which is kind of a growing industry. Do you know anything about this?
No.
Okay, so this is interesting. So we think about drones, you know, as being, for people that don't know, they might assume it's like, oh, it's like a toy airplane kind of thing. It's way beyond that. So these drones nowadays have evolved to the point where there's a lot of licensing involved. You actually have to be certified to fly them. You have to go through the FAA.
I was about to say, we're near the airport.
Yeah, we're near the airport especially. So it's almost similar to getting like a pilot's license at this point.
Okay.
But the industry itself is booming. And so there's all these other industries that are looking into drone cinematography to advance what they do. So something like the real estate industry, they use it all the time to get nice, pretty shots of houses for sale. I've seen like the gas and natural gas industry use it to like inspect pipelines. So instead of somebody having to walk down the pipeline, they just fly the drone with the camera and get the footage, and they can actually do the inspections. Same thing with like roofers. They can do roof inspections without having to actually climb up on the roof. And then the obvious of people that do commercial production or film production, you know, you get those really nice, pretty drone shots that you can't get otherwise. So what we started to learn in this process is, and we're just starting this, is there is a lot of licensing involved. So the first step is what they consider an amateur's license, which I've already done that, and it was not that bad.
So you have an amateur's license?
I've got essentially a recreational license that I can fly the drone itself. And that's something our students would be able to get fairly easily. The next step is what they call a commercial license, and that's a lot more involved. It's like I've got an 80-page study guide I'm working through that's essentially aeronautics is what it is. And then when we get that ready, I'll have to actually go sit with the FAA and take a test to get a commercial license. And so long term, we'll start working that into our curriculum. So our students, when they graduate, that's one more thing they'll have is that commercial drone license, and then go out there into the workforce and get paid for it. What that comes down. But it's fun, it's exciting.
I bet, you know, and I do remember when drones came, you know, out, and they were toys. These were toys. You know, buy your kid, you know, something, and you could watch it go up for a little bit, and then it usually died somehow. You know, or you ran into something. But it's amazing how it has evolved, and so you're gonna be bringing that into the curriculum of this program.
Of our 2-year program. So we already have 2 drones. I've only hit a few trees so far with them.
So they're durable.
But yeah, they're durable. But we do have 2 right now that I've kind of been learning on. And in the spring, we'll start actually getting the students out. This class will be the first ones that'll kind of get to play with it a little bit. And the other side is not just the flight side, it's also the cinematography side of understanding how to get good shots with a drone, because it's not just fly it up there and hit record. You know, it's the same thing of framing, and you have to understand kind of what those shots are going to look like. So it's interesting. We're doing that. That's taking up some time right now.
I imagine so. That you've got an 80-page study guide.
80-page study guide.
How far are you through?
About page 8 right now. It's dense material because it's avionics, and I don't understand any of that. But I'm learning.
Working through it.
It's a lifetime student. That's what we do.
Yes, that's what we do. Now, something else that we're doing a lot of, and I remember a few years ago, you would hear of a podcast here or there, and nowadays, everyone and their brother seems to have a podcast.
Yeah, and this is another booming industry that's kind of evolved out of traditional media.
Okay.
Is now we have this subset of podcasters, and a lot of people listen to them. And more importantly, I think a lot of companies and industries are looking for people that know how to do podcasting, and not just listen to them, but actually know how to produce quality podcasts to promote whatever they're doing. And so for us, and like I said, we're always evolving, kind of looking for the next thing. But we already have a radio studio on campus that's a nice radio studio that's essentially similar to what a podcast studio would be. So it's not that much of a leap to build that into the curriculum as well. So that's another thing in the spring we're going to start getting into is we're going to start doing a lot more podcasting. And it's similar to the radio show that you used to do for us. It's taking that format and kind of adapting it to something like a podcast. And there's some different ways you do things, but it's the same idea. So we could actually do some of that.
Are you telling me that you want me for a podcast?
We might bring him to the podcast
Is that what you're
world.
saying?
We might bring you back.
So the whole notion of podcasting, because I know it was people who were just getting together to talk about various subjects, but companies will be using that to promote themselves, to promote products, to promote,
or even think about it as even like an in-house training thing. So like if you're a large organization like a hospital or an educational institution, and you've got some new thing you need to get out to your employees, or rather than having to go face to face to 400 different employees, you could put that in podcast style and push it out to them all at once, and then they listen to it on their own time when they want to, essentially, and so it saves time. So it's an external sales thing, but it's also an internal training. There's a lot of different ways you can go. Not to mention the fact that a lot of our students can actually just make a living as freelancers at this point. With all this different skill sets they're going to have, they don't really have to work for anybody. They can just do what they want.
And you're showing them how to do that.
Yeah, so we're doing that's two things we got coming up in the spring that we've kind of been tinkering with that we're pretty excited about.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I'm, as always, envious of your hair.
And the shirt today,
And the shirt, great color for it. But thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah,
and I want to have you so you can go back into the murkiness of the control booth.
That's right. Go hide back there.
Go hide back there, but thank you so much. I hope to have you back.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These Eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of executive producer Matt Milner, media specialist Josh Taylor, and student producer Gary Huffmaster, thank you for watching. Hope you learned a little bit, and we'll see you next week.